What's good, YouTube? Sensational Sincere is here, and I'm back with another Tom Clancy's The Division Vendor Reset video. We're here for December 27th, 2019's reset. So let's get right into this and see what we got good for this week. Okay, so for our first gear items, we're going to head over to Camp Hudson. Here, the weapons vendor has a classic M60 with a gear score of 274. It has 19% damage to targets out of cover. And the talents it has is Vicious, Prepared, and Commanding. And then also here we got a small red grip with 18% crit hit damage, 4.50% optimal range, and 2% accuracy. For our next gear items, we're still at Camp Hudson, and the gear vendor here has a Spec Ops pack with the talent Relentless on there. It has a gear score of 271. The armor is 1,318. Its roll for stamina 1,128, and the attributes it has is health and disrupt resistance. And then also here we have a prototype stamina mod with 264 stamina and 3% skill haste. For our next gear item, is going to head over to the meat locker. Here the weapons vendor has a tactical MK16 with a gear score of 268. It has 23% enemy armor damage. And the talents it has is responsive, competent, and brutal. For our next gear item, is going to head over to the base of operations. Here the Dark Zone gear vendor has an ACR with a gear score of 264. It has 20% enemy armor damage. And the talents it has is Adept, Fierce, and Focused. And also here we got a rugged mini reflex sight with 7.50% crit hit chance, 2% accuracy, and 2.50% stability. For our next gear items, we're still at the base operations, and the weapons vendor here has a SOCOM Scar L with a gear score of 258. It has 19% enemy armor damage, and the talents it has is Vicious, Skilled, and Brutal. And then also here we got a small red grip with 18% crit hit damage, 4.50% reload speed, and 4.50% optimal range. For our next gear items, we're still at the base operations. Head over to the advanced weaponry vendor, and we got a black market AK-47 with a gear score of 256. It has 18% enemy armor damage, and the talents it has is Prepared, Competent, and Responsive. Also here we got an extended magazine with 118% magazine size, 4.50% reload speed, and 3% crit hit chance. For our next gear items, we're still at the base operations. Head over to the special equipment vendor, and here we got a Historian with a gear score of 275. It has 171% headshot damage, and the talents it has is Vicious, Brutal, and Historian repeats. And also here we got a Cassidy with a gear score of 279. It has 341.50% stagger, and the talents it has is Sustained and Competent, and you already know Boomstick. Also here we got an MP7 with a gear score of 265. It has 21.50% crit hit chance, and the talents it has is Meticulous, Fierce, and Deadly. Also here we got a tactical mask with the talent Tenacious on there. It has a gear score of 277. The armor is 968. Its roll for electronics 1,178, and the attributes it has is all resistance and burn resistance. Also here we got a Spec Ops pack with the talent Specialized on there. It has a gear score of 282. The armor is 1,324. Its roll for firearms 1,228. And the attributes it has is skill power and bleed resistance. Also here we got some Spec Op gloves with the talent Savaged on there. It has a gear score of 279. The armor is 977. Its roll for stamina 1,260. And the attributes it has is skill haste, crit hit damage, and enemy armor damage. Also here we got a prototype performance mod with 3.50% seeker mine damage. Also here we got another extended magazine with 109.50% magazine size, 4.50% reload speed, and 4% crit hit damage. For our next gear items, we're going to head over to the Cavern. Here the gear vendor has a prototype electronics mod with 263 electronics and 1% crit hit chance. For our next gear item, we're going to head over to Camp Clinton. Here the special equipment vendor has a Liberator with a gear score of 266. It has 18% enemy armor damage, and the talents it has is Vicious, Predatory, and Destructive. Also here we got a Cassidy with a gear score of 279. It has 312% stagger, and the talents it has is Destructive, Adept, and you already know Boomstick. Also here we got a First Wave Vector 45 ACP with a gear score of 274. It has 21.50% crit hit chance, and the talents it has is Competent, Sustained, and Ferocious. And also here we got a Lova C with a gear score of 267. It has 21% enemy armor damage, And the talents it has is brutal, fierce, and talented. Also here we got a SOCOM MK20 SSR with a gear score of 261. It has 159% headshot damage, and the talents it has is adept, ferocious, and balanced. Also here we got a tactical mask with the talent refreshed on there. It has a gear score of 261. The armor is 870. It's roll for stamina 1147, and the attributes it has is health on kill and increased kill XP. Also here we have some tactical gloves with the talent savaged on there. It has a gear score of 274. The armor is 885. It's roll for stamina 1242, and the attributes it has is crit hit chance, enemy armor damage, and pistol damage. Also here we got a prototype firearms mod with 262 firearms and 3037 health. Also here we got an extended magazine with 120% magazine size, 4% crit hit damage, and 4.90% rate of fire. Also here we got a loud vent brake with 17% crit hit damage, 4.50% optimal range, and 3% crit hit chance. And also here we got a reflex sight with 7% crit hit chance, 2% accuracy, and 6% headshot damage. For our next gear item, is going to head over to Dante's Run. Here the gear vendor has a gunslinger's vest with the talent rapid on there. It has a gear score of 271. The armor is 1984. It's roll for electronics 1152. And the attributes it has is health on kill, health, and increased kill XP. And then also here we have a prototype stamina mod with 267 stamina and 2,955 health. For our next gear item, is going to head over to the Crypt. Here the weapons vendor has a double barrel shotgun with a gear score of 278. It has 323.50% stagger, and the talents it has is vicious, competent, and fierce. For our next gear item, is going to head over to West 31st Street checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone vendor has a tactical M249 Para with a gear score of 269. It has 18% damage to targets out of cover, and the talents it has is fierce, commanding, and vicious. Also here we have a prototype performance mod with 4% seeker mine damage, and also here we got a loud vent break with 17% crit hit damage, 5% optimal range, and 5.50% headshot damage. For our next gear item, is going to head over to West 34th Street checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone vendor has a tactical pack with the talent specialized on there. It has a gear score of 272. The armor is 1165. It's roll for electronics 1231. And the attributes it has is stability and ammo capacity. For our next gear item, is going to head over to West 42nd Street checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone vendor has a prototype performance mod with 5.50% sticky bomb explosion radius. And also here we got a SR7 suppressor with 18% crit hit damage, 5.50% headshot damage, and 3% crit hit chance. For our next gear item, is going to head over to West 46th Street checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone vendor has a prototype electronics mod with 254 electronics and 3% skill haste. For our next gear item, is going to head over to East 64th Street checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone gear mod vendor has a prototype performance mod with 5% ballistic shield damage resilience. For our next gear item, is going to head over to East 61st Street checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone weapon mod vendor has an extended magazine with 111.50% magazine size, 5% reload speed, and 5.50% rate of fire. For our next gear item, is going to head over to East 58th Street checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone gear vendor has a tactical mask with the talent refreshed on there. It has a gear score of 281. The armor is 956. It's roll for electronics 1258. And the attributes it has is skill power and blind depth resistance. Also here we got an operator pack with the talent specialized on there. It has a gear score of 276. The armor is 1255. It's roll for stamina 1269. And the attributes it has is skill power and bleed resistance. For our next gear item, is going to head over to the Park Ave checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone weapons vendor has a M249B with a gear score of 277. It has 19% damage to targets out of cover, and the talents it has is Unforgiven, Self-Preserved, and Deadly. For our next gear item, is going to head over to East 53rd Street checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone vendor has a G36 Enhanced with a gear score of 281. It has 23% enemy armor damage, and the talents it has is Fierce, Vicious, and Focused. And also here we got a small red grip with 18% crit hit damage, 4.50% optimal range, and 4.50% reload speed. For our next gear item, we're going to head over to East 42nd Street checkpoint. Here, the Dark Zone vendor has some guide roll tactical gloves with the talent Savage on there. They have a gear score of 272. The armor is 926. Its roll for stamina 1,196. And the attributes it has is crit hit damage, SMG damage, and crit hit chance. For our next gear item, we're going to head over to East 40th Street checkpoint. Here, the Dark Zone vendor has a prototype firearms mod with 258 firearms and 1% crit hit chance. For our next gear item, we're going to head over to East 34th Street checkpoint. Here, the Dark Zone vendor has a tactical mask with the talent Tenacious on there. It has a gear score of 280. The armor is 961. Its roll for firearms 1,257. And the attributes it has is skill power and blind death resistance. For our next gear item, is going to head over to East 31st Street checkpoint. Here, the Dark Zone vendor has a tactical mask with the talent Tenacious on there. Got another one. This one has a gear score of 274. The armor is 905. Its roll for electronics 1,252. And the attributes this one has is exotic damage resilience and increased kill XP. For our next gear item, is going to head over to the 5th Ave checkpoint. Here, the Dark Zone vendor has a loud vent break with 18% crit hit damage, 3% crit hit chance, and 2.50% stability. For our next gear item, is going to head over to DZ2 Safe Room. Here, the Dark Zone gear vendor has an operator mask with the talent Enduring on there. It has a gear score of 265. The armor is 852. Its roll for firearms 1,168. And the attributes it has is all resistance and disorient resistance. And also here we got a tactical vest with the talent Vigorous on there. It has a gear score of 278. The armor is 1,943. Its roll for stamina 1,260. And the attributes it has is health, exotic damage resilience, and ammo capacity. And then also here we got an operator pack with the talent Specialized on there. It has a gear score of 269. The armor is 1,168. Its roll for firearms 1,162. And the attributes it has is health and ammo capacity. For our next gear item, is going to head over to DZ3 Safe Room. Here, the Dark Zone weapons vendor has a Lova C with a gear score of 267. It has 23% enemy armor damage, and the talents it has is competent, responsive, and capable. And then also here we got a Police MK17 with a gear score of 280. It has 151% headshot damage, and the talents it has is brutal, disciplined, and prepared. And then also here we got a M249B with a gear score of 273. It has 19% damage to targets out of cover, and the talents it has is competent, predatory, and prepared. For our next gear items, we're going to head over to DZ4 Safe Room. Here, the Dark Zone gear mod vendor has a prototype performance mod with 5% support station healing speed. For our next gear items, we're going to head over to DZ5 Safe Room. Here, the Dark Zone weapon mod vendor has an extended magazine with 115.50% magazine size, 2.50% crit hit chance, and 4.90% rate of fire. For our next gear items, we're going to head over to DZ8 Safe Room. Here, the Dark Zone gear vendor has a Spec Ops armor with the talent Vigorous on there. It has a gear score of 273. The armor is 1,938. Its roll for firearms 1,162. And the attributes it has is health, skill haste, and increased kill XP. For our next gear items, we're going to head over to DZ9 Safe Room. Here, the Dark Zone weapon mod vendor has an Omega rifle suppressor with 18% headshot damage, 3% crit hit chance, and 4.50% optimal range. Alright everybody, that's it for our Tom Clancy's The Division Vendor Reset video for December 27th, 2019's reset. I want to thank everybody who tuned into it. I hope they found them something that they needed. I appreciate all the likes y'all dropping. I appreciate all the people subbing to the channel. Thank you for that support. I really appreciate it. I stream sometimes on Mixer and Twitch with the same name, Sensational Sincere. Y'all can come through and check me out sometimes or follow me over there. I appreciate that support. Merry Christmas to y'all, YouTube Division fans, and I will holler at y'all with the next one, everybody. Take care, peace.